So the Tsar Bomba is the new best tower in BTD 6. Well, actually, I'm being a little bit silly when I'm calling it the best tier 5 because it's probably a very subjective title, but this tier 5 Tsar Bomba is actually a very special tower because it recently did something that only a handful of towers have ever done in the history of BTD 6, and that is a one tower chimps. That's right, the middle path ace, the Tsar Bomba, recently did a one tower chimps run all by itself. That was the most insane thing that I've seen in a while. So this was achieved by Duke, and it just goes to show how crazy these new changes have been to the Tsar Bomba, which are allowing it to actually do a one tower chimps run. So what were those changes? Well, first off, let me see if I can survive this round so we can go straight into Geraldo. Maybe we should do a little bit of a strong to first micro, or is it gonna be fine? I think this is gonna be the most difficult part. There's a lot of red balloons and a lot of greens. Do we have this one? Oh, that's close. That's a great snipe. All right, we get it done. Okay, let's have Geraldo like this. So what are the changes that happened that allowed the Tsar Bomba to do a one tower chimp? So first off, the ground zero, which is the tier 4, it got its ability cooldown reduced from 45 to 35 seconds, so now it is exactly the same as the tier 5, so that's amazing. And also the tier 4's damage got improved from 10 to 15, so now the tier 4 does the exact amount of damage as the old tier 5 used to do. And finally, the Tsar Bomba buffs, which are that the bombing run damage got literally doubled from 15 to 30. And guys, this is exactly what has enabled this Tsar Bomba to do the craziest thing ever. Alright, so we finally get the money for the ace, so I'm just gonna have it like this. I chose cubism because, well, I am really not good at ace micro, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna leave it like this in Fear Infinite, and it should be able to cover like the majority of this middle portion of the track. I do want to mention though that this one tower chimps run that happened was with a little bit of extra cash because the ace costs $865 and the amount of money that you get in chimps mode is $650. So you actually have to give yourself a little bit of extra cash to be able to buy it, but come on, this is just like such a crazy accomplishment that I don't even care. I genuinely don't even care that they gave themselves like 250 bucks. Alright, so let's try and test this new Tsar Bomba, how much damage the new attack does, and then if we can play off of it as the main DPS, which is kind of the weirdest thing ever because you're not exactly playing off of the DPS of the Tsar Bomba usually, you're playing off of the ability. I brought Geraldo for the reach of potions, and then we're going to be buying an Energizer sub actually for the reduced cooldowns even first. So this is going to be a very fun one. Let's start with the discount village like this, and I think we should be fine on these early rounds, right? And 27, this is exactly the perfect time in which you want to get the bomber race, which we do get kind of soonish thanks to the discount. So let's buy this thing, and actually the next thing should be the rapid fire because it does improve not only the dart attack speed but the bombing run attack speed, so that's gonna be kind of cheapish as well for about 600. There we go. This is right on time for round 28. The only problem that we're gonna have is like black balloons to zebras because the bombs cannot pop them, so hopefully a little bit of the darts. Look at this thing actually. These bombs, man, these bombs are actually so unreliable, and I can only imagine what you have to go through to I don't know, to go through like an entire game of microing like these guys to land on top of the correct balloons. That's crazy to me. Alright, so currently the biggest problem that we're gonna have is getting to the ground zero, which is about $20,000, which means that this guy, the 130, you know what, actually let me make it the 230, give it a little bit of extra attack speed. We want to get a little bit more darts actually because we cannot pop black balloons to zebras. And I guess the next thing we're gonna get a little bit of relief is probably gonna be, first off, let me get this guy the sharpening stone, and the next point of relief is going to be just getting the cherry's fire, right, because it does work on the plane and it follows the plane actually, not the platform. Alright, so 39, we're at $5,000. We spent a little bit of cash on some Geraldo items, and honestly I'm a little bit grateful that the map works like this because if I had to micro this thing, it would have been a complete disaster, and I'm probably gonna have to do it a little bit actually for the Moab on round 40. So how is Geraldo's levels doing? He's level 7, a little bit off of level 8, and the cherry's fire. So this is gonna be the last balloons around 39, and we're gonna have the Moab. So let's see how this guy's gonna do. Those are some really good bombs. How much damage are these guys doing actually? It's like 3 damage per bomb, something like that, but the Moab doesn't seem to be popping. So one of the things that we can do is we can probably just do this if the Moab later pops. So I'm gonna have a blade maelstrom at the end. I really wouldn't like doing this because this is gonna put us so far away. Yeah, we have to do it. Let's just get the blade trap going. Alright, so 43 incoming. How is this guy gonna do versus a lot of ceramics and a lot of rainbows actually? The rainbows are kind of annoying because they release zebras, and these darts, they only do 1 damage. So you know that it's gonna go into a zebra, and then the zebra is gonna go into like a black balloon, and the bombs are not gonna do anything to it. So so far so good. Okay, round 43. Do we have this one? Yeah, there we go. That's really nice. The RNG was with us there, so that's really good. We're about $8,000 off of this thing. So yeah, just getting there slowly, guys. The 40s, I'm telling you, 40s is the most important ones with this guy. Alright, once we get the ground zero, I feel like things are going to be a little bit easier for sure. Alright, 45 ceramics, and I know that we can do, by the way, at Jerry's Far. I just don't want to do it unless it's absolutely necessary. I would rather do something like this, which is a little bit cheaper. We get the glue, and also it's going to be setting up these balloons for the bombing runs, right? So I think this is like a better option overall. Did we take care of 47? And look at this thing. Actually, I didn't know this. The AoE of this glue is actually so big that it glues these guys on the other side. Okay, that's actually going to be really helpful because look at these bombs. Oh my god, that's the entirety of 47. That's great. Don't tell me we're going to lose on these last ones. You know what? I'm even going to use a blade trap if necessary, just so we beat this round. Oh yeah, we have to do it. It was a really close one, but I guess we're going to take that as a win. Okay, so let's finally get the ground zero. Okay, so one bombing run drops 4 bombs, and one of these guys does 15 damage. So that's going to be 60 damage, and the Morbler has 200 HP. So 3 bombing runs, if they all hit, it's not going to be enough. You're going to need 4 at least just to get rid of the Morbler, which is, I don't know, I mean, when it hits, it actually does get rid of entire ceramics because it layer skips these layers are immune to explosions, right? So that's kind of good. Something that's really interesting, by the way, is that the ground zero cost is 20k and the SAR Bomba is 32. So this implies that there is not that much of a difference between the tier 4 and the tier 5, but it actually is because the tier 5 can 1-tower chimps. That's insane. Okay, now do we want to use the ability for this one? I actually don't want to use it for this one. Let's just see how the normal attack is going to do because 54 is going to have ceramics and mobs, so let's just chill. I see a bunch of ceramics on the other side though. Oh, that's going to miss solve it. Oh, never mind. It actually hit. Alright, so let's buy ourselves a glue. The glue is going to be the most important thing actually in this entire run because it's going to be setting up all the small balloons, believe it or not. So let's go for something like a 032 and just take a look at the difference this glue makes. I mean, the only thing is going to be getting rid of the mob layers at this point, but once we do it, once we're left with all these small balloons, like the glue is just going to keep everyone in place. Up that was amazing. Probably going to need to use the ability in this one, by the way. A lot of regrowths, and there's zebras, so that's a little bit annoying. And you know what? I think I'm just going to use it. Let's just clean out 61. This was our first ability. Still no rejuves with Geraldo, but I think we can survive 62. And then look at this new ability, by the way. So the cooldown is 35 seconds, which means you can be, you know, pretty liberal in the way that you're using these abilities. You don't have to save it or anything like that. As long as you stall the balloons enough, I mean, it's going to be fine. It's going to come off cooldown again. All right, 63. This is the big one. Let's see how we're going to do with these new bombing runs, which do 15 damage. Can we actually do some ability shenanigans? Maybe we need to time the ability or something like that. Or that's a great bombing run. Oh my god, was that the entirety of the 63? I think it was. I see a huge wave, by the way, of green balloons, and the Pierce. Oh, the Pierce is barely covering all of them. Wave number 3, again, leaving them to greens because it does 15 damage, and these guys have 18 HP in total, these ceramics. But if this bombing run hits, oh, it missed. No, we have to use the ability, I think, because that's a huge wave of greens. I'm gonna do it. It's fine. Almost. That was close. That was really close in 63, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine because we do get the rejuve now, so in case we need to use it on this round, we can just rejuve it, or let's try and stall everything. So the normal wives have been dealt with, and then the 45 ones, it's popping some of them for sure. That's a good drop, and then we're gonna need one more drop at the back. It actually doesn't even matter because we got the ability back of cooldown. Man, this new cooldown is really good. Let's just use it. It's fine. It's up again. All right, and that is round 68, and we do finally get enough money for the SAR bomb, but that's actually kind of a quick one. So let me just buy this guy. So because one bomb does 30 damage on the SAR bomba, that means that all these ceramics are getting one shot. So what I'm getting at is there's nothing to worry about pre-free play with this tower in place. Although you do want to be slowing the balloons down, so I would probably want to buy something like another glue, honestly. Maybe make this guy the relentless just to keep everyone in place. Okay, so we can do some cool things in 75 actually. We can just use the ability, wipe the entire round, and then 76, everything is going to get one shot because now this guy does 30 damage. So I'm actually just going to use for the first time ever, use the SAR Bomba ability. There he goes. And then look at these new projectiles. Look at these new bombs dealing 30 damage each. Bam, that's it. Alright, so 82, 81 just ended, but 82 is really interesting because it's going to have 45 BFBs, which are going to release 45 super ceramics. So one single bombing run seems to be able to deal with all of these leftover ceramics. So look at this thing. If it drops it in the right spot, yeah, you guys watching that? All of those ceramics are just getting destroyed by one single bombing run. So that's amazing thanks to this new damage. Now the question is it going to keep doing that with these new 45 ceramics? And I think, by the way, we have the money for the energizer, so I'm just going to buy it. Oh, actually, let's wait for a second because the energizer is going to start melting the ceramics itself. So let's see how we're doing. Yeah, so one single bombing run does it doesn't seem to be dealing with entirety of all these 45 ceramics. Yeah, there we go. And honestly, it would have been a little bit OP if it were able to just deal with the entire 45 ceramics in one bombing run. So I think it's fine the way it is. Let's buy the energizer. Let's get even shorter cooldowns. So we do have the rejuves with Geraldo. Alright, so let's start playing off of the ability a little bit. So this is 85. We did a decent amount of damage to these ZMG layers. I'm just going to use the ability now, which is going to wipe the entirety of 85. And then let's use the Sabo, just slow everyone down. Look at the ability and how it's going. It's going super fast, and by the time all these guys come out, we are going to have it again. So let's just do it again. This is the fun part of using the Tsar Bomba ability. This is so fun, actually. And do a little bit of damage versus these UMGs. Use the ability again, and that should be... Oh, I was a little bit off. And that's going to be a huge wave of Moabs, actually, but is it going to be enough to cause some issues? Nope, doesn't look like it. Okay, so 89, 45 to Moabs, actually making it a little bit far, so I'm going to use the Sabo unironically this time. Not for fun, but just to be safe. Is the entirety of the round out? I think it is. So we use the ability. We're going to get DDTs on the next one. And the question is the ability going to come off cooldown for 90 because we used it a little bit late on 89. You know what? Can these bombs actually deal with DDTs by themselves? I mean, that's going to be a good jump here at the back. I think we need to use the Sabo, by the way, because the Tsar Bomb ability is still not up, but we might not even need it, right? One of the DDTs popped. Are we going to pop it? I'm just going to wait for this run as well. So we popped 2 out of the 3. That's good enough for me. And now let's see if maybe we're going to do a little bit more damage to these guys, and maybe we can pop some of these DDTs as opposed to round 90. I mean, I'm seeing some great bombs, actually. Oh my god, look at these new bombs, guys. They're actually popping the DDTs by themselves. And I think this was a very, very important aspect in just getting... Oh, is he going to pop all of them? That's going to be close. No, we have to use the ability, but this was a very important aspect in getting the 1 tower chimps run as I was watching that video. Alright, so round 94, this is about the entirety of the round, so I'm just going to use the ability. These UMGs are going to survive, and yeah, this thing just have like an obscene amount of pierce, so you don't even have to worry about it. Just click the button. Now, let me just dump one of the Sabos, just call like this, and because 95 takes a while until the DDTs come off cooldown, I think we're fine, actually. I don't think we need to be using any Sabos. Alright, so 95 is out. Let me use one of the Sabos. The other one just came off cooldown. Maybe we can get the pop on a couple of these DDTs with the normal attacks. Let me actually try and just have it go a little bit back. I was trying to pop some of these DDTs up front, actually. Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna pop the first ones? Oh, it doesn't look like it, but we can use the other Sabo. Wait for everyone to come out. I see a ceramic. I think we have to use it. Everyone is out. Oh my god, that was so close, but everyone was out, thankfully, and then we get a 95 with just one single ability. That was amazing. This is so fun. I mean, once you get the setup going, this is just like you click one button, and this is, by the way, a chimps game. I know that the map that we're playing on is on the easier side, so you know, it's probably gonna be even more fun, honestly, or more difficult map, just because the I guess the difficulty of these like intermediate and advanced maps are just gonna make the victory a little bit more sweeter. So yeah, if you guys are planning on doing this, this is one of the strategies that you can use. You just do the button thing, you click the button, and this is the power of the Tsar Bomba. I'm gonna be honest, I don't use this tower nearly as much as I should, because now that I'm playing this tower and I'm just getting a taste of the Tsar Bomba again after a very long time, this feels really, really good. Alright, so 98, we can probably wipe this entire round in 2 abilities, so I'm gonna use the Sabo. The second one is still on cooldown, but it's gonna come back off cooldown before 99 arrives, so let's just wait for the entirety of the round to come out. I'm gonna use one ability that should wipe all the 45 BFBs, right? Yep. There we go. That's ridiculous. Okay, so we actually do have... Oh, and look at Jarell as well, by the way. 19. So he's going to restock the entire shop. So let's actually go like this. Let's use the Sabo and dump the ability. And now because he's going to restock, the Sabo is going to last through 99. So it might actually slow down some of these DDTs. Now let's use the other Sabo because it's not going to do anything for round 100. And the Bad Bloon, and just hoping that this ability comes off cooldown. We saved, by the way, $53,000. Yup, that's how good this thing is. But there we go. We get the ability. So this is going to wipe all the DDTs. And for the grand finale, I was thinking of getting a cripple Moab. We can stun the DDTs in case the ability is on cooldown. If we pop the bad layer with the ability, let's just dump one ability and let's just kind of monitor what's happening. We do have 2 Regios, by the way, in stock. Let's use another Tsar Bomba ability, and then I feel like this guy, we're doing a decent amount of damage. It seems like with the bombing runs, with the 2 abilities, and then the... Oh my god, this guy's at 12k. Alright, so the bat should pop right about now. So let's do the Regio, and as soon as this guy pops, let me actually use it. Oh, that was beautiful timing for versus those DDTs, by the way. Let's do another Regio, and then this one should be... it's almost enough. Okay, let's use the Sabo, and it seems like that was about it with the Bad Bloon. Guys, that is just such a great change, and yeah, I didn't believe it at the start either, but yeah, this guy actually did a 1 tower chimps by itself, and in our run, we have 1,951,000 pops. That's very good, actually. Alright, so that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'm gonna see you on the next one.